Close your eyes for a moment and imagine you are no longer hoping, no longer waiting. You are not in lack. You are not chasing. You are now. Feel the weight of the world lifted from your shoulders. Not because someone saved you, but because the version of you who is already free, already wealthy, already standing in the flow of $50 million, 0 cents, has awakened. Let me remind you of a truth that has been buried beneath your doubts. You already have it. There is no need to hustle harder, to beg the world to give you more, or to ask permission from life itself. Creation is finished. All versions of you already exist, and the one with $50 million, 0 cents, is just one assumption away. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not tomorrow, not when the evidence shows, right now. You must walk, talk, breathe, and rest in the knowing that it is already yours. Because money does not come to the needy. It comes to the one who knows it is already theirs. You are not poor. That is a memory, a phantom, a fading echo of an old state you no longer occupy. What you feel now, deeply and consistently, will clothe itself in form. Imagine it now. Your accounts overflowing, your home reflecting abundance, your freedom unshaken by circumstance. Imagine not as a beggar, but as a creator. Not as a wish, but as a fact. Do not ask how. The how is none of your business. The universe rearranges itself around the feeling you sustain. And your only job is to persist in that state until what is invisible becomes undeniable. You do not wait for wealth. You become wealth. You do not wait for a miracle. You are the miracle. So think this way. $50 million, 0 cents is already mine. I'm not going to get it. I have it now. I accept it. I feel it. I live from it. Say it until you believe it. Then believe it until you no longer need to say it, because you'll be living it. And that's when the world will catch up. Not because you earned it, but because you finally claimed it. Breathe. Forget where you are, forget who you've been, forget what is in your bank account, and forget the world that tries so hard to remind you of what you lack. Instead, step into the secret place, the inner sanctuary where all things are possible. Here, you are free. Here, you are powerful. And here, you already have the $50 million, 0 cents stop. Don't just imagine it as a number in an account. Feel what it means. What does it feel like to know you never have to worry about money again? What does it feel like to wake up and realize that life is now on your terms? That everything you once dreamed of is now simply your reality? This feeling, this inner experience, is the bridge. It is the link between the desire you hold and the world that reflects it. Most people try to force life into giving them what they want. They work tirelessly, striving, hustling, hoping, begging, all from the state of lack. But what they do not see is that life responds not to effort, but to assumption. The assumption that it is already done, that it is already yours, that you are no longer desiring it, but living from it. The secret is not in doing more. The secret is in being more. Be the person who already has it, not in pretense, but in awareness. If $50 million, 0 cents were truly yours now, how would you walk? How would you think? How would you speak? You must dare to enter that version of yourself and dwell there, not as a visitor, but as a resident. You see, desire is only the beginning. It is the spark. But feeling is the fire. Feeling is what sets the wheels in motion. It is the signal you send out to life, the language the invisible world understands. When you feel lack, the world mirrors back more lack. When you feel abundance, it must reflect abundance. Do not wait to see it in the outer world before you believe. That is not creation, that is reaction. Creation happens in the unseen. You create with your inner world, and the outer world has no choice but to follow. So train yourself to feel the feeling of your wish fulfilled, not just in moments of meditation, but in every idle moment. Feel it. Embody it. Let your imagination be bold. Let it be real. Picture yourself walking through your dream home, not as a dream, but as a memory. Hear your voice on the phone with your banker, moving millions. Feel the texture of the life that belongs to you. Let it take over your senses. Let it rewrite your reality. This is not fantasy, this is the law of consciousness. What you accept as true within yourself becomes the truth you walk through. So never again say, I want, for wanting implies you do not have. Say instead, I am, I have, it is done. Because in the realm of spirit, it is already so. You are not imagining to create it. You are imagining to recognize what has already been created. You are not convincing the universe, you are convincing yourself. And once you believe it, the world will bend to that belief. The feeling is the key that unlocks the door. It is the proof of faith, the evidence of things not yet seen. So live from the feeling. Let it consume you. Let it guide you. And one day soon you look around and realize what you once imagined is now your life. What you see right now, the life you're living, the people around you, the money in your account, the job you hold, it is not the cause, it is the effect, the result of the imaginal acts you've once accepted as true. You may not remember the exact moment you imagined these things into being, but you did. Everything around you was first created in your mind. Every experience, every condition, every so-called coincidence, it was shaped by thought, molded by imagination, and sustained by belief. We are taught to believe that what we see with our physical eyes is the real world. But this is the great illusion. What you call reality is simply the solidified version of your inner world. It is a mirror, a delayed reflection of what you have accepted and entertained within yourself. If you do not like what you see, there is no use in fighting the reflection. The only transformation that lasts is the one that begins in the mind. Imagination is not some playful distraction, it is divine, it is creative power, it is the workshop of the world. Everything you've ever built, touched, loved, or lost was first born in the invisible realm of thought. So why do we doubt it? Why do we look at our present circumstances and believe they are fixed, unchangeable? Because we have forgotten the truth. The outer world is not the master. It is the servant. If you want to change your life, you must go to the root. And the root is within. No one can see what you're imagining, but everyone will witness its effects. Do not underestimate the power that lies behind closed eyes and a quiet mind. In that stillness, you are shaping nations. In that inner silence, you are rewriting your life. The moment you begin to imagine a new reality and accept it as real, Not someday, not maybe, but now, you begin to plant seeds in consciousness. And like every seed, it needs no effort on your part to grow. It only requires your faith. Water it with your attention, nourish it with repetition, protect it from the weeds of doubt, and in time it must bear fruit. You cannot imagine one thing and expect another. You cannot dwell in poverty in your mind and expect riches to knock at your door. You cannot hold on to memories of failure and hope success will bloom. Life is just. It gives you exactly what you assume to be true. And that truth is not determined by your words, but by your inner state. So you must imagine differently, boldly, radically. You must dare to believe that your imagination is more real than what your senses report. Because it is. The senses only tell you what was. Imagination tells you what can be. And if you persist in the assumption of your desire, your senses must eventually confirm it. They have no choice. Begin now. Choose a scene that implies your desire is fulfilled. Live in it. Return to it. Let it become your dwelling place. When doubt arises, remind yourself. The world is only echoing past assumptions, but I am no longer that version of myself. I see differently now. I feel differently now. I imagine differently now. The world does not change first. You do. And once you do, the world cannot help but change with you. Because imagination is not a dream. It is the foundation of all that exists. It is the only reality. Hold fast to it, and everything else will follow. It is a quiet power that moves mountains, opens doors, and multiplies wealth. And it does so without noise, without struggle, and without force. It does not shout, it whispers. It lives not in the world of action, but in the stillness of your inner being. And it is there, in the silence of your mind, that all things are claimed. You have been taught to fight for money, to strive endlessly, to wake early and run faster, work harder, push beyond your limits. You've been told the world rewards those who hustle, who bleed, who sacrifice everything just to taste a drop of financial freedom. But that is not how true wealth is made. That is how it is chased, and often how it slips through your finger. The real source of wealth is within, and it does not respond to desperation, it responds to acceptance. You do not have to convince the world you are worthy of money. You do not have to beg life to bless you. You only have to accept, in the quiet sanctuary of your own mind, that it is already yours. This is not denial of reality. This is mastery of it. Because reality is fluid. It bends to the assumptions you hold in consciousness. And when you claim something internally, not wishfully, but confidently, the world rearranges itself to match that inner knowing. So what does this claiming look like? It is not loud, it is not dramatic, it is subtle. You sit in stillness, you close your eyes, and you feel the truth of it. You hear the inner voice that says, I already have more than enough. You do not argue with it, you do not doubt it, you accept it as your new state of being. In this state, there is no need to hustle to prove yourself. There is no need to compare yourself to anyone else. There is no need to worry about how it will come. The how belongs to the wisdom of life itself. Your only role is to claim it. Think of the wealthy version of you, not in the future. Now, what are they thinking? How do they feel about money? How do they walk through the world? They are not frantic. They are not anxious. They are calm. They are certain. They expect abundance, and therefore it finds them, not because of effort, but because of alignment. This is the secret most ignore. You do not manifest what you want. You manifest what you are, and you become what you assume. So assume the role now. Be the person who already has it. Feel that peace, feel that confidence, not for 5 minutes, but for as long as it takes, until it becomes natural. Let others chase. Let them stress. You have found the still place, the place where all things begin. And from that place you speak not to the world, but to yourself. I have it. And that quiet claim echoes into the fabric of reality, weaving the events, people and opportunities that lead you exactly where you belong. There is no need to announce it, no need to prove it. What is truly yours cannot be taken. What is claimed in consciousness cannot be denied in the outer world. So speak not with your mouth, but with your inner vision. Declare not to others, but to yourself, again and again, until your soul believes it. And when you believe, the world will reflect, not because you forced it, but because you claimed it in the silence of your mind. When you play the lottery, do not play with hope. Do not play with doubt hiding behind your smile. Play as the one who already holds the winning ticket in consciousness. Before the numbers are ever drawn, before you ever see a result, go within and see it. Feel it. Claim it. Understand this. What you see in the physical world is nothing but the delayed reflection of your past states of mind. So if you play while thinking, maybe I'll win, then you are not creating, you are gambling. But when you persist in the assumption that you have already won, even before the physical evidence appears, then you are doing what the world calls impossible, but what is simply natural law. If the numbers come and they are not yours, do not flinch. Do not fall into despair. Do not say, see, it didn't work. That is doubt speaking. And doubt is the denial of the gift. It is the dismissal of what you have already claimed in spirit. Instead, say quietly to yourself, this is just the bridge. This is not the end. I still have it. It is already mine. You do not beg for what you already own. You assume it. You dwell in it. You let the world catch up. Play the lottery with a different mind. Not the mind of chance, but the mind of certainty. Hold the ticket and feel the joy as if you are already holding the winnings. See yourself celebrating. Feel the relief. Feel the gratitude. Let it be so real in your inner world that the outer world has no choice but to bend toward it. This is the way of manifestation. The world responds to conviction, not loud, desperate shouting, but quiet, unwavering belief. True manifestation is not waiting to see if it will happen. It is knowing it already has. And when you persist in this way, with unwavering inner knowing, with joy, with bold expectation, the lottery, like all things, becomes a tool in the hands of your consciousness. A mirror that simply reflects what you dared to believe in silence. So the next time you play, go inward first. Assume the feeling, claim the win, dwell in it. And then no matter what the numbers say, persist. The unseen is more real than the seen. And when you believe that, magic happens. When you play the lottery, do not ask, do not plead. Do not say, I hope I win, or please let this be my turn. That posture, that energy, keeps your desire at arm's length. You cannot be in the state of asking and the state of having at the same time. The one who asks is still without. The one who knows already has. Before you ever hold the ticket in your hand, know that it's the winning one. Not because of luck, not because of odds, but because you have already accepted it in the deep silence of your mind. This is not about superstition. It's about alignment. When you align with the state of being a winner, life rearranges itself to fulfill that inner knowing. You see, when you ask, you place yourself below the desire. You are the beggar looking up. But when you know, you become one with the thing itself. You are no longer reaching, you are receiving. That's when the magic begins. So, when you play as the one who already knows it is done. Not with arrogance, but with quiet certainty. Feel the gratitude before you ever see a result. Feel the joy, the peace, the relief. Not someday, but now. Let those emotions wash over you like a wave. Not because something might happen, but because it already has in your imagination. When doubt whispers, when the mind wants to check the outcome and worry, return to the knowing. Return to the truth. Remind yourself, I am not hoping, I am not wishing, I am dwelling in the end. I know. This is the greatest secret. Your world does not respond to asking. It responds to assumption. It responds to your inner conviction, to the vibration you carry in stillness. When you become the version of yourself who already has what you desire, the outer world cannot help but conform. So treat that lottery ticket as a mirror of your consciousness, not as a gamble, but as a symbol of what you've already accepted as yours in imagination. You don't need to beg life for abundance. Life is always reflecting what you are willing to be. Feel it so deeply within that even if the result tells you otherwise, your faith remains unmoved. That's when the shift happens. That's when you step out of the old story. You are no longer the one hoping to win. You are the one who has won. And the world is simply catching up. So play the lottery, but play differently now. Play from the end. Play from the knowing. And watch what happens. When you play the lottery, don't play toward a future win. Play from the win already being yours. Do not live as someone hoping something will happen. Live as the version of you in whom it already has. This is the difference between chasing a dream and embodying a truth. The one who lives from the end is not waiting. They are being. Most people play and then wait, eyes fixed on numbers, breath caught in hope. But that energy declares, I do not have it. And what you are, the state you occupy, must be reflected back to you. So if you remain in the state of waiting, of lack, of desire, then waiting is what you receive. Lack continues. The desire remains unfulfilled. But when you live from the end, from the state of already possessing the $50 million 0 cents, the universe has no choice but to echo that vibration. The outer world bends to the inner reality. You are not waiting for confirmation, you are giving it. You take the ticket, and before numbers are drawn, before anything real seems to happen, you close your eyes and see your life as if it has already unfolded. You walk through the house that's now yours. You hear the calls you would receive. You feel the sense of peace that $50 million, 0 cents brings, not as fantasy, but as fact. And then you live from that truth. You don't check your bank account in fear. You don't wonder if you should keep playing. You don't question whether it's possible. You know. When you live from the end, you align with the frequency of the thing desired. You are no longer saying, I want to be rich. You are silently saying, I am rich. And so the world moves to match that declaration. It may seem like magic, but it's law. The inner state is the blueprint. Reality is the outpouring. So the next time you play the lottery, see yourself as already having won. Don't wait for the evidence. Don't wait to feel the joy. Don't wait to celebrate. Do it now, inwardly. And then walk as that version of you throughout your day. Hold your head like someone who already has $50 million. 0 cents. Speak with the calm of someone who never worries about bills again. Let that energy saturate you. The numbers are not the source. You are. The ticket is not your hope. It is your mirror. And when the inner man is aligned with wealth, the outer world delivers it by whatever means necessary. Now you understand. $50 million 0 cents is not a fantasy waiting in some distant future. It is a state of consciousness already alive within you, waiting to be accepted, not asked for, not begged for, claimed. When you assume the feeling of already having it, when you persist regardless of appearances, when you stop asking and start knowing, you become one with the thing you desire. You are no longer separate from it. You are the cause. You are the creator. Imagination is not daydreaming. It is the only true reality. What you dare to feel real, what you dwell on in silence, what you boldly embody now, that is what your world must reflect. So the next time you play the lottery, don't play for the win. Play from the win. Live in the end where the desire is already fulfilled, because it is. This is not about luck. It's not about numbers. It's about consciousness, and you have full control. Let the world catch up to your knowing. Let the evidence unfold. But you remain unmoved, remain convinced, because $50 million 0 cents is already yours. Think this way and nothing will be impossible for you. Thank you. Thank you for walking this journey of awareness with me. Thank you for choosing to be Neville Goddard. Thank you for daring to claim what is already yours. Now go, not as the one who wishes, but as the one who knows, and watch the world respond. The moment you complain, you declare yourself powerless. You affirm that the world controls you, that you are at the mercy of circumstances. But I tell you, this is an illusion. There is no power outside of you. If you speak of struggle, struggle persists. If you speak of lack, lack multiplies. The world is nothing but a reflection of the assumptions you hold within. And then there is the compulsion to explain, to justify, to convince, to seek approval. But why? Do you not see that the one who knows does not need to explain? The one who walks in certainty has no desire to be understood. What is understood in the unseen will soon be made visible. Those who try to explain themselves are still bound by doubt. They look outward for validation when the only authority is within. When you no longer explain, you have accepted your own power. You do not ask for permission to be great, you simply are. Silence is not weakness. It is the greatest display of mastery. When you stop complaining, when you stop explaining, you enter into a realm of absolute control. You move in quiet certainty, knowing that what you have assumed is already yours. So I ask you, what will you choose? Will you let the noise of the world dictate your state, or will you remain unmoved, secure in the knowledge that all things are already working in your favor? Never complain, never explain, simply assume. The words you speak are not empty sounds. They are commands issued to the unseen forces that shape your reality. Every word carries weight. Every sentence forms the blueprint of your experience. Most people speak without awareness, not realizing that their words are seeds planted in the fertile soil of consciousness. And just as the earth brings forth whatever is sown within it, so too does your world reflect the words you habitually use. When you complain, you are not merely describing a situation, you are reinforcing it. You are declaring to yourself and to the universe that this is your reality, and because consciousness is the only creative power, it has no choice but to affirm your assumption. If you say, "I never have enough," then the unseen forces conspire to ensure that you experience more lack. You do not escape the words you repeatedly speak. They return to you in the form of circumstances, confirming what you have declared. If your complaints have the power to sustain unwanted conditions, what happens when you shift your speech to align with what you desire? When you stop speaking of limitation and start affirming abundance, the very foundation of your experience begins to shift. Instead of saying, "Nothing ever works out for me," you declare, "Everything is always working in my favor." Instead of saying, "I feel so unloved," you affirm, "I am deeply loved and appreciated." The words themselves may feel unnatural at first, but persist, and you will see evidence of their truth unfolding before you. There is no separation between your inner dialogue and your external world. What you whisper in silence becomes the reality you live. You must therefore guard your speech with the same diligence as a watchman guards the gates of a city. If a thought arises that contradicts your desired state, do not give it voice. Do not allow it to take root in your consciousness. Instead, redirect your words to affirm what you wish to experience. This is not about ignoring reality, it is about creating a new one. The world does not exist independent of you, it is a mirror reflecting back the contents of your mind. If you do not like what you see, do not curse the reflection, change the cause. Change your speech, and you will change your life. But be warned, you cannot affirm abundance while secretly indulging in words of lack. You cannot speak of joy while carrying conversations of misery. The words you habitually use reveal what you truly believe, and the law does not respond to fleeting affirmations but to the dominant assumptions held in your heart. Speak with conviction, and the world will bend to your command. You are not here to passively observe reality, you are here to shape it. Speak only of what you desire, and let your words create the world you wish to see. Every time you open your mouth, you are making a choice: to complain and reinforce what you do not want, or to declare the reality you wish to experience. Choose wisely, for your words shall not return to you empty. They will accomplish what you send them forth to do. The moment you feel the need to explain yourself, pause and ask, who am I seeking approval from? Why do I believe I must justify my actions, my choices, or my desires? The need to explain is a sign that you are looking outward for validation instead of standing firm in your own knowing. It is an unconscious admission that you feel uncertain, that you need the agreement of others to confirm what you already know deep within. But true power does not seek validation. True power simply is. When you explain yourself, you are in essence justifying lack. You are trying to prove why you deserve something, why you are worthy, why your decisions are correct. But the very act of explaining reinforces the idea that without approval, without understanding from others, your choices lack meaning. And this is a great illusion. For the moment you need someone else's agreement, you have placed your power in their hands. You have made them the authority over your own life. Think about this. Does the sun explain why it rises? Does the river ask permission to flow? No. They simply are. They move with a certainty that requires no justification. The same must be true for you. The more you explain, the more you allow doubt to creep in, the more you make yourself small. If you know something to be true, if you have assumed it in consciousness, then it does not matter whether others see it or believe it. Only your knowing is enough. This world conditions you to seek approval. From childhood, you are taught to explain your actions, to justify your choices, to prove yourself to others. But the awakened individual understands that explanation is unnecessary. The moment you try to explain, you are revealing a subtle insecurity, a hidden doubt. If you were truly certain, would you feel the need to defend your position? No. You would simply move in the assumption that what you desire is already yours. Those who explain too much are often those who have not fully accepted their own power. They still believe they must convince the world before they can receive what they seek. But this is backward thinking. You do not receive because the world approves, you receive because you assume it is already done. The moment you shift your focus inward, the need to explain falls away. You realize that no one outside of you needs to understand, because the only thing that matters is your own certainty. Observe those who are truly confident. They do not argue, they do not plead, they do not over-explain. They state what is and let silence do the rest. They understand that the more they explain, the more they dilute their own power. Instead of seeking validation, they embody the energy of already having. And because they do not seek approval, they receive effortlessly. So the next time you feel the urge to explain, resist. Do not justify, do not seek agreement. Instead, assume that you are already enough, that what you desire is already unfolding, and let that be the final word. Move as if you already have what you seek, and watch as the world reflects it back to you. Silence holds a power that few understand. In a world that thrives on noise, on endless explanations, on constant validation, the one who remains silent possesses a strength that cannot be shaken. It is easy to argue, to explain, to seek approval from others. But the strongest individuals do none of these things. They do not beg to be understood, nor do they waste energy convincing others of what they already know to be true. Instead, they move in quiet confidence, allowing their results to speak for them. The need to explain, to defend, to seek validation is rooted in insecurity. Those who are unsure of themselves feel the need to talk excessively, to prove their worth, to be acknowledged. But the one who truly knows, the one who has assumed their power, has no such need. They understand that words are unnecessary when conviction is absolute. Their silence is not weakness, it is the clearest sign of their strength. Observe those who have mastered their reality. They do not announce their plans to the world. They do not waste time justifying their choices. Instead, they move with quiet determination, knowing that what they seek is already theirs. They do not speak of their struggles. They overcome them in silence. They do not boast of their victories. They let their actions reveal them. And in doing so, they command the respect of the world without ever demanding it. Alexius Liminius. Silence is not the absence of thought, nor is it passive. It is a force, an energy, a quiet knowing that requires no validation. When you embrace silence, you tap into a power far greater than words. You learn to listen, not to the noise of the outside world, but to the truth within. And when you are rooted in that truth, nothing can shake you. Weakness seeks approval. Strength moves without permission. Those who are truly powerful do not concern themselves with whether others understand them. They do not waste time explaining their vision, their beliefs, or their desires. They simply assume, act, and receive. And because they do not seek validation, they are met with no resistance. They are the quiet architects of their own destiny. I believe that they are ruling behind the veil for the first time, and there is a great discipline in silence. It requires patience, confidence, and unwavering trust. To remain silent when the world expects an explanation is to declare that you need no one's approval. To move forward without justification is to embody true power. You do not need to convince anyone of who you are or what you are capable of. Your results will make that clear in time. For you know that you create the situation. It is your call to save yourself. And if you do not accept the destiny, so the next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, to defend your choices, to be understood, resist. Hold your silence. Let your confidence speak louder than words ever could. Walk as if you already have what you seek, and the world will take notice. For silence is strength, and those who master it become unstoppable. Where you place your attention determines the reality you experience. Every thought, every word, every emotion is an investment of energy, and whatever you focus on expands. If you spend your time complaining, dwelling on difficulties, or speaking about what is wrong, you are actively feeding the very conditions you wish to escape. But the moment you shift your focus, the moment you withdraw your attention from problems and place it on solutions, unseen forces begin to work in your favor. Most people live unconsciously, unaware that their constant complaints are not just observations, but instructions. Each time you speak of lack, struggle, or hardship, you are reinforcing those conditions in your reality. You are declaring them to be true. And because consciousness is the only creative power, it must bring forth that which you continue to affirm. This is why those who always talk about their problems seem to have more of them, while those who focus on gratitude and possibility experience more opportunities. Understand this: energy flows where attention goes. If you keep looking at what is wrong, you will find more reasons to feel stuck. But if you redirect your focus to what is working, to what is possible, to the unseen forces aligning in your favor, then your entire world begins to shift. The outer world is nothing but a mirror reflecting back the dominant state of your inner world. What you assume to be true, what you consistently dwell upon, must manifest in form. This does not mean you ignore reality or pretend challenges do not exist. It means you stop giving them more power than they deserve. Instead of talking about your problems, talk about solutions. Instead of focusing on what is missing, focus on what is coming. Instead of magnifying difficulties, magnify possibilities. You are always choosing where to place your energy, and that choice determines what you experience next. Have you ever noticed that when you are deeply immersed in a problem, it seems impossible to find a way out? But the moment you let go, shift your focus, or step away, clarity comes. This is because you cannot find a solution while being fixated on the problem. Solutions exist on a higher frequency than complaints. When you release your grip on difficulties and turn your attention toward what you want, unseen forces begin moving on your behalf. Doors open, opportunities appear, and what once seemed impossible suddenly becomes effortless. Those who understand this principle do not waste time complaining. They do not dwell on obstacles or speak of what is going wrong. Instead, they hold the vision of what they desire, knowing that their focus alone is enough to shift reality. They understand that complaining is not just harmless venting. It is a creative act that reinforces what they do not want. And so, they guard their words, their thoughts, and their energy with the same diligence as a watchman guards a city gate. The choice is always yours. You can either magnify your problems or magnify your power. You can either focus on lack or focus on abundance. But remember, whatever you give your attention to grows. Energy flows where attention goes. So choose wisely. The moment you stop explaining yourself, you step into true freedom. So many live their lives bound by the opinions of others, adjusting their actions, words, and even their desires to fit expectations that were never their own. But you were not born to be understood by the world. You were born to create your world. The need to explain is the need to seek approval, and the need for approval is the root of self-imposed limitation. When you detach from external judgment, you break free from the invisible chains that hold most people captive. Why do you feel the need to explain? Because you want to be accepted. You want others to understand your choices, to agree with your decisions, to validate your desires. But the truth is, no explanation will ever be enough for those who do not see the world as you do. And more importantly, you do not need them to. You are not here to convince anyone. You are here to assume, to believe, and to create. They must see a way to you before they see the ocean. The more time you spend explaining yourself, the more you reinforce the illusion that their understanding is necessary for your success. It is not. Look at those who move with power. They do not ask for permission. They do not waste time justifying their path. They simply decide, act, and allow their results to speak for them. Their energy is directed toward creation, not explanation. They are unshaken by opinions because they understand that external judgment is irrelevant to their internal knowing. When you detach from the need to be understood, you reclaim your power. You begin to operate from a place of certainty rather than from a place of doubt. You are no longer swayed by the shifting opinions of others because you realize that their thoughts have no authority over your reality. What matters is not how they see you, but how you see yourself. The irony is that when you stop seeking approval, people begin to respect you more. They sense your self-assurance, your quiet confidence, your unwavering belief in your own path, and in that confidence, they find nothing to challenge. But even if they do not, it does not matter. You have freed yourself from their expectations. You have stepped into the space where true creation happens, a space untouched by doubt, untouched by fear, untouched by the need to explain. Detachment from external judgment does not mean isolation. It does not mean arrogance. It simply means that you no longer place your happiness, your self-worth, or your direction in the hands of others. You walk your path with conviction, knowing that your inner world creates your outer experience. You understand that no one outside of you has the power to define you, unless you give them that power. So stop explaining, stop defending, stop justifying. Step into your knowing, move in silence. Let your life be the proof of your decisions. The moment you stop explaining, you will feel a weight lift from your spirit. You will realize that you were never meant to live inside the opinions of others. You were meant to create, to manifest, to assume the highest and watch as reality bends to your belief. Assumption is the key to creation. Whatever you assume to be true, whatever you persist in feeling as real, must be reflected in your world. There is no force outside of you deciding what you can or cannot have. Only your inner conviction shapes your reality. The mistake most people make is that they assume what they do not want. They assume struggle, lack, and delay, because that is what they see with their physical eyes. But the truth is, the world you see is nothing but a shadow of past assumptions. If you want to change your reality, you must first change what you assume to be true. This is why silence is so powerful. When you assume something with full conviction, you do not need to talk about it, question it, or seek reassurance. You do not need to explain it to others or ask for their approval. You simply assume and you let it be. The seed has been planted, and like any seed, it must be left undisturbed to grow. If you were to plant a tree and constantly dig up the soil to check if it is growing, you would only delay its progress. The same is true for your desires. Once you have assumed the feeling of the wish fulfilled, let it be. Do not interfere with doubts, complaints, or unnecessary explanations. Most people struggle because they assume one thing and then contradict it with their words and actions. They affirm abundance but speak of lack. They assume success but behave as if failure is inevitable. They do not trust their assumption enough to let it be. But the one who truly understands this principle remains still. They do not seek proof because they already know. They do not ask when or how because they understand that the assumption contains its own fulfillment. Shna. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and then carry yourself as if it were already done. There is nothing more to do. You do not need to force, beg, or chase. You do not need to convince anyone. Reality will mold itself to fit your assumption. It has no choice. This is not wishful thinking, this is law. The world is only a reflection of the state you persist in. If you dwell in the state of the fulfilled desire, your world must rearrange itself to match that state. The greatest discipline is to remain faithful to your assumption even when your senses try to deceive you. Even when circumstances seem unchanged, you must persist in the unseen reality you have claimed. This is why silence is your greatest ally. Do not speak against your assumption. Do not contradict it with unnecessary explanations. Do not seek validation from the outside world. Move in quiet confidence, knowing that your assumption is already on its way to materialization. In time, you will see it. The outer world will shift, and what once seemed impossible will be standing right before you. And when that moment comes, you will realize that it was never about forcing, chasing, or explaining. It was always about assuming and letting it be. This is the way of true creation. This is the way of effortless manifestation. Assume. The power to shape your reality has always been within you. Every word you speak, every thought you entertain, and every assumption you hold dictates the world you experience. Complaining only reinforces what you do not want, while silence strengthens your inner conviction. Explaining yourself seeks validation from the external, but true power lies in knowing without the need for approval. When you stop justifying, stop complaining, and stop seeking to be understood, you free yourself from limitation. Energy flows where attention goes. If you focus on problems, they multiply. If you focus on possibilities, the unseen forces of creation move in your favor. Detach from the opinions of others, for they hold no authority over your destiny. Assume your desire is already fulfilled, carry yourself in quiet confidence, and let reality conform to your belief. There is no need to chase, force, or explain. The strongest move in silence. They assume and they let it be. And when the world finally sees the manifestation of their inner conviction, they will understand, but by then it will not matter. You were never here to create. Thank you. Listen carefully. This is not a story of luck. It is a testimony of divine law in motion. I did not win the lottery once, nor twice, but 8 times, by simply speaking into existence what was already mine. There is no randomness in this world. The patterns of life respond to the patterns of thought. Every win, every manifestation, every shift in reality begins with a spoken word, an unshakable decree. When I first set my intention, I did not ask. I did not plead. I did not say, I hope I win. I did not say, maybe one day. I did not entertain the possibility of failure. I lived in the certainty that it was already accomplished. Every morning, every night, I repeated these words with conviction. And then I let go. I did not check obsessively. I did not doubt. I continued my days as if the prize was secured, because in truth, it was. You see, the moment you align with the state of having, reality has no choice but to conform. You are not waiting for wealth, it is waiting for you to step into alignment. And when the first wind came, I did not feel surprise, I felt confirmation. When the second, the third, the fourth wind arrived, I knew it was simply the law unfolding. Each time I spoke the words, I reinforced the truth. Some may call it luck, some may call it coincidence, but I call it law. A universal principle that bends to the one who knows how to wield it. Now I ask you, are you willing to step into the power of your own spoken word? Are you ready to speak as if it is already done? The words you speak, whether aloud or within, shape the very foundation of your reality. Every thought, every phrase, and every sentence that passes through your mind or escapes your lips is not just a fleeting notion. It is a seed planted in the soil of your subconscious. And what is the subconscious but the boundless, fertile ground where all manifestations take root? It does not question. It does not resist. It merely receives and fulfills. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a grand mirror, reflecting back to you the sum of your most dominant thoughts and spoken words. If you speak of lack, of struggle, of misfortune, then life, obedient to the command of your words, will shape itself accordingly. If you affirm with certainty that abundance is yours, that success follows you, that you are divinely favored, then the world around you must conform. It cannot do otherwise, for the universe does not discriminate. It simply echoes what you declare. Most people walk through life unaware of the immense creative power they hold within their words. They say things in passing, unaware that every utterance carries weight. They speak of debts, of fears, of endless obstacles, and then they wonder why life seems to mirror their worries. But the subconscious does not recognize jokes, nor does it understand when you are merely speaking without intention. It takes everything as truth. The moment you say, I never have enough money, your mind registers it as an order, and reality bends to fulfill it. When you complain, I always struggle, you are giving permission for struggle to persist. But just as words can create limitation, they can also liberate. The moment you become conscious of what you speak, you reclaim your power. You begin to see that every word is an instruction to the unseen forces that shape your experience. And if you can instruct limitation, you can also instruct abundance. If you have unknowingly declared defeat, you can just as easily declare victory. This is why repetition is key. The words you repeat most often become the strongest beliefs in your mind. And belief is the force that moves mountains, that shifts realities, that opens doors unseen. If you repeat, I am always provided for, money flows to me in ease, your subconscious absorbs this as truth. And once something is accepted as truth, reality has no choice but to comply. This is not mere wishful thinking. This is not empty optimism. This is the law in motion. Look around you. Every great leader, every individual who has shaped history has understood this at some level. They have spoken their success into existence long before the world recognized it. They have affirmed their destiny, even when their circumstances showed no evidence of it. You too must do the same. You must become mindful of the words you allow to pass through your lips. Speak only what you wish to see made manifest. Replace words of lack with words of abundance. Instead of saying, I hope it happens, say, it is already done. Instead of saying, I don't know if I can do this, declare, I am fully capable and everything is aligning for me. From this moment forward, guard your words as you would guard your most precious treasure, for indeed they are. Speak life, speak success, speak joy, and watch as the world around you reshapes itself to match the truth you have declared. When you assume something to be true with unwavering faith, the entire world moves to reflect that assumption. This is not theory, this is law. What you hold as a firm belief within your consciousness is mirrored back to you in your external reality. There is no separation between what you deeply accept as fact and what materializes in your life. The outer world is nothing more than a reflection of the inner world, molded by the thoughts you consistently entertain and the convictions you refuse to let go of. Most people do not realize that they are constantly assuming, whether consciously or unconsciously. Every day they assume things about themselves, about their circumstances, and about their future. Some assume failure before they even begin. They assume they are unlucky, that success is hard to attain, that wealth is reserved for others. And what happens? Life proves them right, not because the world is cruel, but because the world has no choice. It must conform to the assumptions you hold as truth. But just as one can assume lack, one can assume abundance. Just as one can assume struggle, one can assume ease. The key is unwavering faith. Faith so absolute that it does not waver in the face of appearances. If you assume yourself to be wealthy, to be loved, to be successful, and persist in that assumption regardless of what your senses tell you, then the world will bend to make it so. It must. That is the nature of reality. Assumption is not mere wishful thinking, it is a state of being. It is stepping into the feeling of already having that which you desire. It is knowing that the moment you claim something as yours, it has already begun to unfold, even if you cannot yet see it. The delay between assumption and manifestation is simply the time it takes for reality to adjust itself to match your inner conviction. Many make the mistake of assuming something only for a moment, then allowing doubt to creep in. They say, I am wealthy, but when they check their bank account and see little change, they immediately revert to old beliefs of lack. But true assumption does not falter. It does not check for proof. It does not look for evidence. It assumes boldly, without hesitation, without compromise. Think of an actor who steps into a role so fully that they become the character. They do not question whether they are convincing. They embody the role completely. That is how you must assume. You must take on the state of the person who already has what you desire. Walk as they would walk. Think as they would think. Feel as they would feel. Do not wait for the evidence to appear. The moment you make an assumption and hold firm to it, unseen forces begin to move. Opportunities arise. People appear. Circumstances shift. The world rearranges itself, sometimes in ways beyond comprehension. This is not coincidence. This is law. The law does not fail, it only reflects. So assume the best. Assume that life is working in your favor. Assume that everything you desire is already yours. And then watch, without doubt or hesitation, as the world conforms to your belief. You must not wish, you must not hope. You must know with absolute certainty that your desire is already yours. This is the secret to bringing forth anything you wish to experience. The mistake many make is in believing that their desires exist somewhere in the future, always just out of reach, dependent on circumstances they cannot control. But the truth is, what you seek is already here, waiting to be claimed. And the way to claim it is by living in the end. To live in the end means to assume, right now, that you already have what you desire. It is no longer a distant possibility, no longer a goal. You must accept it as your present reality, even before it appears to your physical senses. The world will always reflect back to you what you believe to be true, not what you want to be true, but what you know to be true. If you persist in the assumption that you already have your desire, the world must conform to that belief. It is law. But how does one live in the end? It is not about pretending or forcing external action. It is about stepping into the state of the fulfilled desire within yourself. Ask yourself, if my wish were already fulfilled, how would I feel? How would I think? How would I carry myself? Then embody those feelings and thoughts now. Feel the relief, the joy, the gratitude, as if what you desire is already a fact in your life. If you wish to be wealthy, stop thinking and acting as someone in lack. If you wish to be loved, stop yearning and start knowing that love is already yours. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. If you impress upon it the feeling of already having what you seek, it will accept that as fact and set the unseen forces of reality into motion to bring it about. The external world is nothing more than a reflection of your internal state, and when your internal state is unwavering in its assumption of fulfillment, the outer world must catch up. This is why mere wishing and hoping do not work. When you wish for something, you are affirming that you do not have it. When you hope for something, you are placing it in the future, separate from yourself. But when you live in the end, you remove all separation. You claim it as yours, and reality has no choice but to comply. You must remain faithful to this assumption, no matter what your current circumstances suggest. The physical world may not shift instantly, but that does not mean your assumption is false. A seed does not sprout the moment it is planted. It takes time to grow. Likewise, when you persist in the state of your fulfilled desire, reality begins adjusting, aligning people, events, and circumstances to bring about the physical manifestation. Whenever, do not waver, do not look to the outer world for validation. Simply rest in the feeling of already having your desire and let the unseen forces of creation do the rest. If you can hold firm in your assumption, with no doubt, no contradiction, and no concern for how it will unfold, you will watch as the world rearranges itself to reflect your inner certainty. That is the power of living in the end. Repetition is the key to mastery, the force that imprints ideas upon the subconscious mind, shaping reality in its image. Just as water carves through stone with persistence, the words you repeat, whether aloud or in the silence of your thoughts, mold the substance of your world. Your subconscious does not judge, question, or resist. It simply absorbs and reflects whatever is consistently impressed upon it. Many believe change requires struggle, but true transformation comes through repetition. Whatever you feed your mind repeatedly, whether consciously or unconsciously, becomes your truth. If you constantly affirm lack, struggle, and limitation, your subconscious will take these as commands and shape your reality accordingly. If, however, you choose to repeat words of abundance, success, and fulfillment, those too will take root, and soon they will manifest in ways beyond your logical understanding. The power of repetition lies in its ability to bypass the analytical mind, the part of you that questions, doubts, and clings to old conditioning. Through sheer consistency, repeated words sink deep into the subconscious, where they become beliefs, and beliefs become lived experiences. There is no force in the universe stronger than a deeply held belief, and repetition is the tool that creates it. Consider how habits are formed. At first, a new behavior may feel unnatural, but through repetition, it becomes second nature. The same is true of thought. If you begin repeating a phrase such as, "I am wealthy, I am successful, I am loved," at first it may feel untrue, but if you persist, if you say it daily, if you impress it upon yourself with conviction, it will become so familiar to your mind that it is accepted as fact. And once it is accepted, it must express itself in your reality. Doubt cannot withstand the power of repetition. In the beginning, the conscious mind may resist. It may argue against your new affirmations, pointing to external conditions that contradict them. But repetition overrides this resistance. Say the words anyway. Let them become so ingrained that they no longer feel like affirmations, but simple statements of truth. The subconscious will respond in kind, orchestrating events, drawing circumstances, and aligning people to make your repeated words a tangible reality. This is why the most successful people in any field understand the necessity of repeating their vision, their goals, their affirmations. They do not leave their beliefs to chance. They choose their words carefully and repeat them relentlessly. They understand that the mind is a garden, and repetition is the act of watering the seeds they wish to grow. You are always imprinting upon your subconscious, whether intentionally or not. Every word you say, every phrase you repeat is a command to the unseen forces of creation. Choose wisely. If you desire a life of abundance, repeat words of abundance. If you wish to experience love, repeat words of love. Do not let careless negative words take root in your mind, for they too will manifest. Let repetition become your ally. Speak as if your desires are already fulfilled, and through the power of imprinting, they will become so. Just as water carves through stone, your repeated words will carve the path to your destiny. Gratitude is not merely a polite gesture. It is a powerful force that confirms to the universe that your desire is already yours. Most people wait until they receive something before they express gratitude, but the secret to manifestation is to give thanks in advance. When you feel grateful for something before it appears, you send a signal to the unseen forces of creation that you already possess it, and reality must conform to that belief. The mistake many make is in separating themselves from their desires, believing they exist somewhere in the future, always just out of reach. But gratitude dissolves that illusion of separation. It shifts your awareness from wanting to having, from lack to fulfillment. When you say, "Thank you that I am wealthy, thank you that I am loved, thank you that my desires are fulfilled," you are not hoping or wishing, you are confirming, and confirmation is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. Your subconscious mind responds to feeling, not empty words. This is why gratitude is so effective. It carries a deep emotional charge. When you feel truly grateful, your entire being aligns with the state of having, and when you remain in that state, your external world must shift to match it. The law is simple. What you believe and feel to be true manifests. Gratitude is the emotional proof that you already possess what you seek, and the universe has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Many who struggle with manifestation find themselves trapped in a cycle of wanting. They constantly affirm, visualize, and repeat their desires, but their underlying state is one of lack. They are still waiting for evidence before they allow themselves to believe. But gratitude allows you to bypass this limitation. When you give thanks before seeing results, you are no longer waiting, you are knowing. And knowing is the key to receiving. This is why some people seem to manifest effortlessly. It is not because they are lucky, but because they naturally embody the feeling of already having. They walk in confidence, they feel blessed before the blessing arrives, and because they expect it with unwavering gratitude, it comes. You must live as though your desire is already fulfilled. Speak and think in ways that reflect this truth. Instead of saying, "I hope to receive more money," say, "I am so grateful that money flows to me with ease." Instead of longing for love, say, "I give thanks that I am surrounded by love in all forms." Make gratitude your natural response to life, not just for what you already have, but for what is on its way. Gratitude is the highest form of faith. It shows that you trust the unseen, that you believe in the creative power within you. And faith does not beg or plead, it assumes, it thanks, it rests in the certainty of fulfillment. When you truly grasp this, you will no longer chase after desires, wondering when they will arrive. You will know they are already yours, and through gratitude you will witness them unfold before your eyes. There is no need to chase what is already yours. The moment you declare your desire with conviction, it is set into motion. The unseen forces of creation begin aligning events, people, and circumstances to bring your desire into form. But for many, the greatest obstacle is not in declaring what they want. It is in their inability to let go and trust. They plant the seed, yet they keep digging it up, checking for signs, worrying, doubting, and wondering if it will really happen. This is where faith and detachment must take their rightful place. Detachment is not indifference, it is confidence. It is the deep, unwavering knowing that once you have spoken your desire, it is done. It does not require your constant interference. Just as a farmer does not hover anxiously over his crops, wondering if they will grow, you too must trust that the seed of your word is already working beneath the surface. Your role is to assume its fulfillment, not to force it into being. Many fall into the trap of begging and chasing, believing that the harder they try, the faster their desires will manifest. But effort born of desperation only reinforces the idea that the desire is not yet yours. This is why those who are desperate for love often repel it, why those who chase money seem to struggle endlessly, and why those who are anxious about success never seem to grasp it. Their focus remains on the lack of what they seek, rather than on the certainty of its arrival. Faith is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. When you truly believe that what you have declared is already set in motion, you do not need to see evidence before you rest in the assurance of its fulfillment. You simply know. This knowing allows you to move through life with ease, free from doubt, free from worry, and free from the exhausting need to force things into being. The united one within and without the world, we know we are the only ones. Unless we dissuade ourselves, and now go, or let me put it, dissuade ourselves. Consider the air you breathe. You do not chase after it, nor do you wonder if it will be available to you. You trust in its presence. You do not panic, question, or beg for each breath. You simply inhale, knowing it is there. This is the same level of trust you must cultivate with your desires. The moment you declare it, it is already in motion. You do not need to grasp or cling. You only need to trust. It does not mean giving up on your desires. It means releasing the need to make them happen. It is a state of complete faith, where you no longer operate from a place of need, but from a place of already having. And when you embody this mindset, you free yourself from unnecessary struggle. The universe responds to this certainty, and what you have spoken must unfold effortlessly in its perfect time. Let go of the need to control. Speak your words, declare your vision, and then release it with absolute trust. Live in the assumption that it is already yours. Walk in the confidence that the moment you spoke it, the universe heard you. And when you least expect it, when you are no longer grasping or searching, your desire will manifest in ways more perfect than you could have ever imagined. The power to create your reality has always been within you. Every word you speak, every assumption you hold, and every emotion you embrace shapes the world around you. When you understand that your words are commands to the subconscious, that assumption solidifies reality. That repetition imprints your desires, and that gratitude confirms their fulfillment. You unlock a life of effortless manifestation. There is no need to chase, force, or beg. The moment you declare something with conviction, it is set into motion. Your only task is to trust, to detach from the need to see immediate proof, and to walk in the knowing that what you have spoken is already yours. The universe does not withhold, it simply mirrors back to you the state you am. Live as though your desires are already fulfilled. Feel the joy of possession, give thanks in advance, and let go of the need to control the process. Trust that everything is unfolding perfectly, in divine timing, and in the best possible way. When you operate from this deep sense of faith and certainty, reality will shape itself to match your inner world. You are not a victim of circumstances, you are the creator of them. Speak with authority, assume the best, and know that the unseen is always working in your favor. The moment you align with this truth, life will become a seamless flow of effortless manifestations. Thank you for listening, and may you walk forward with unwavering faith in the power within you. Before the seed breaks through the soil, the earth must move. Before the dawn, the night must pass. And before your manifestation appears in your world, the unseen must first shift. If you have been living in the assumption of your desire, know this: signs will always follow. A sign of true manifestation is an unshakable peace. You are no longer chasing, wishing, or hoping. Instead, you have surrendered to the knowing that what you seek is already seeking you. The restless mind becomes still. You do not beg for what is already yours. You rest in the conviction that it is done. Have you been seeing repeated numbers, hearing the name of your desire in unexpected places? These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. The world outside is a reflection of the world within. When you start seeing echoes of your desire, it means the invisible has already taken form. It is now arranging itself to be revealed in your life. The subconscious mind, the doorway to creation, begins to send you messages. In dreams, you may see yourself already possessing what you seek. New ideas flood your mind effortlessly. This is your deeper self whispering, "It is near." The mind does not invent, it reveals. And what it reveals to you in the stillness of night is a glimpse of what is to come. Detachment is not giving up. It is stepping into certainty. You no longer hold tight trying to force things into place. Instead, you walk in the feeling of already having it. The one who knows he is rich does not count his coins every hour. He simply lives as the wealthy man. So too must you live as the one who already has. The world around you begins to rearrange itself. Certain relationships fall away while others step in. The job, the opportunity, or the person that once seemed distant now moves closer. Why? Because the unseen forces are at work, molding reality to match the assumption you have held within. Do not be shaken when a challenge arises just before your desire manifests. This is not a sign of failure, but of confirmation. The old reality will attempt to pull you back, but this is your moment to stand firm. Hold fast to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and watch as the illusion of lack crumbles before you. Your manifestation is not in the future, it exists now. Time is merely the unfolding of what is already complete. Trust the signs, remain unwavering, and know this: what you have imagined is already done. There comes a moment in the journey of manifestation when the restless energy of wanting disappears. The longing that once felt so urgent begins to dissolve, replaced by something far more powerful, Certainty. You no longer chase, beg, or plead with the universe. Instead, you rest, knowing that what you have imagined is already yours. This is the moment when true faith takes hold. It may seem strange. You might have spent weeks, months, or even years feeling an intense desire, constantly wondering when and how it will arrive. You may have tried countless techniques, visualizations, affirmations, or rituals to speed up the process. But then, without warning, the desperation fades. Not because you have given up, but because something within you has shifted. You realize you do not need to force or control anything, because creation is already finished. The seed of your desire was planted the moment you fully imagined it, and now it is only a matter of unfolding in time. This inner peace is not passive, it is not resignation or indifference. It is an unshakable confidence, a deep trust in the unseen. When you truly believe that what you desire is already done, you stop questioning. You stop looking for external validation. You no longer search for signs, because you understand that the greatest sign of all is the change within you. The anxiety that once controlled you disappears, and in its place comes a quiet assurance that allows you to move through life with ease. People often believe that they must struggle and fight to bring their desires into reality. They believe that manifestation requires constant effort, a relentless pursuit of techniques and strategies. But true creation happens in the stillness of the mind, in the moments when you allow yourself to rest in the knowing that it is already yours. When you are anxious, you are still doubting. You are still looking outside of yourself for confirmation. But when you are at peace, you have already received it within. This is the paradox of manifestation. When you feel that you no longer need it, it comes. When you stop chasing, it finds you. When you stop doubting, reality bends to match your belief. It is not about pushing but allowing, not about forcing but surrendering. You will recognize this shift when it happens. You may wake up one day and feel completely at ease. The desire that once consumed your every thought will feel natural, as if it has already happened. You may even forget about it for a time, no longer obsessing over when or how it will appear. This is not. And then, as if by magic, the outer world begins to reflect your new inner world. You start to notice changes, small at first, then undeniable. The right people appear, the right opportunities unfold. The reality that once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. But it is not magic at all. It is simply the law in motion. There comes a time in the process of manifestation when the universe begins to speak to you in ways that seem almost too perfect to be coincidence. Suddenly, you start noticing repeating numbers everywhere, on the clock, on license plates, on receipts. You overhear conversations where strangers mention something directly related to your desire. A song plays on the radio with lyrics that feel like a message meant just for you. These are not accidents, they are signs that the unseen world is responding to your inner state. Many people dismiss synchronicities as random events, but they are far from meaningless. They are reflections of your inner world materializing in the outer world. The universe, or rather your own consciousness, is arranging itself to bring your desire into form. When you begin to see these symbols frequently, it means the shift has already started. You are no longer just thinking about your desire. You are aligning with it. These signs are confirmations that what you seek is not only possible, but already moving toward you. It often starts subtly. You might think of someone, and moments later they call or message you. You might envision a specific outcome, and soon after, something happens that feels like a preview of your manifestation. These moments feel special because they are. They are glimpses of the invisible forces at work, aligning circumstances in your favor. If you pay attention, you will notice patterns, a rhythm to how things unfold. And here we are. It is as if reality is winking at you, letting you know that you are on the right path. The key is not to chase these signs, but to acknowledge them with gratitude. When you try too hard to force them, you fall into the trap of doubt, looking for proof that your manifestation is working. But these symbols appear naturally when you are in a state of allowing. They are not here to convince you. They are here to remind you of what you already know deep down, that your desire is on its way. The universe speaks through people. You might be struggling with doubt, and then a friend unknowingly says something that directly addresses your concern. You may be contemplating a decision, and a random article, video, or message gives you the clarity you needed. These are not just chance occurrences, they are the unfolding of your assumption. Every external sign is a reflection of your internal state. When your belief in your desire strengthens, the world around you will begin to confirm it more and more. There may also be times when these signs appear rapidly, almost overwhelmingly. It is in these moments that you must remain steady. Do not let excitement turn into attachment or impatience. Instead, let these synchronicities deepen your trust in the process. The more you acknowledge them without clinging to them, the more they will continue to unfold effortlessly. When the universe begins mirroring your desires back to you, understand that you are no longer merely hoping or wishing. You are in the state of receiving. The bridge of events is forming, and your manifestation is closer than ever. There is a moment in the journey of manifestation when your subconscious begins to reveal signs that what you seek is already on its way. This often happens through dreams, vivid, powerful dreams that seem more real than ordinary ones. You may see yourself already experiencing your desire, living in the reality you have imagined. You may wake up feeling as though you have touched something beyond the physical world, as if a part of you has already stepped into the life you long for. To imagine that everything is already coming as you imagine, reality shows up. These dreams are not random. They are messages from the deeper layers of your mind. confirming that your manifestation is taking shape. The subconscious mind is the gateway between the unseen and the physical. It does not operate on logic or reasoning as the conscious mind does. Instead, it speaks in symbols, emotions, and imagery. When you impress a desire deeply enough upon your subconscious, through repetition, imagination, and belief, it begins to accept it as reality. And once it does, it starts to communicate with you in ways you may not expect. Dreams are one of the most direct ways your subconscious shows you that you are aligning with your manifestation. Sometimes these dreams are literal. You may see yourself holding the very thing you desire, talking to the person you wish to attract, or living in the place you long to be. Other times the messages are more symbolic. You may dream of walking through an open door, flying effortlessly through the sky, or discovering hidden treasures. These symbols reflect the internal shifts happening within you. If you pay attention, you will begin to notice patterns. Your subconscious is always guiding you, showing you glimpses of what is unfolding beneath the surface. Beyond dreams, another powerful sign of alignment is mental clarity. Thoughts that once felt scattered now seem to arrange themselves effortlessly. You begin to receive insights, solutions, and ideas seemingly out of nowhere. Where there was once confusion, there is now understanding. The answers you had been seeking suddenly become obvious. This is not coincidence. It is the result of your subconscious organizing reality in accordance with your belief. You may notice that new opportunities present themselves at just the right time. A book appears with exactly the wisdom you need. A conversation with a stranger provides unexpected insight. Inspiration flows effortlessly, and you find yourself knowing exactly what to do next. This clarity is a sign that your mind and reality are becoming synchronized. When you are in this state, there is no longer a struggle. You are not trying to force things into place. They are falling into place on their own. Many people search for signs outside of themselves, but the greatest confirmation of manifestation is the change within. If your subconscious is showing you your desire in dreams, if your thoughts are clear and solutions seem to come naturally, understand this: you are already in possession of what you seek. The outer world is simply catching up. Trust these dreams. Trust this clarity. They are not mere thoughts. They are evidence that what you have imagined is preparing to take form. The bridge between the unseen and the seen is unfolding, and soon you will step into the reality you have already lived in your mind. There comes a point in the process of manifestation when something remarkable happens. You no longer feel the desperate need for your desire to appear. The constant questioning, the restless impatience, and the urge to check for signs simply dissolve. Instead, you feel neutral, as if what you once longed for is now inevitable. This state of detachment is one of the clearest signs that your manifestation is near, for it shows that you have fully accepted its reality. Quote from Arthur Newick: "This shift can feel strange. You may have spent so much time visualizing, affirming, and focusing on your desire that the sudden loss of urgency feels unnatural. But this is not a loss of interest or giving up. It is a sign of deep inner certainty. You no longer feel the need to make it happen because in your mind it already has. There is no grasping, no chasing, no anxious waiting, only a quiet knowing that it will arrive in its own perfect time and way. Detachment does not mean you stop wanting your desire. It simply means you release the feeling of lack. You no longer see it as something separate from you, something out of reach. Instead, you live as though it is already yours. Imagine how you would feel if your manifestation had already come true. Would you still be constantly searching for proof? Would you still be doubting or questioning? No, you would go about your life with ease, secure in the fact that it has already been done. This is the energy of detachment. It is the space where true manifestation unfolds effortlessly. When you detach, you free yourself from resistance. You are no longer sending out signals of desperation or neediness, which only push your desire further away. Instead you move into a state of trust, allowing One of the greatest misconceptions about manifestation is the idea that you must constantly think about your desire for it to materialize. But the opposite is true. When you obsess over something, you reinforce the belief that it is not yet yours. You keep it in a state of wanting rather than having. But when you detach, you shift into the state of already possessing it. This is why so many people experience their manifestations the moment they stop worrying about them. As we've said, the energy of surrender allows things to unfold with perfect timing. This feeling of detachment is also accompanied by an inner sense of peace. You no longer feel the emotional highs and lows of expectation and disappointment. You are no longer checking for signs, asking when it will happen, or feeling frustrated at delays. Instead, you simply live, knowing that what is meant for you is already on its way. And in this state, manifestations happen faster than ever before. When you reach this level of neutrality, embrace it. It is not a sign that your desire is slipping away. It is a sign that you have finally aligned with it. And soon enough, the outer world will reflect the certainty you now hold within. As your manifestation draws closer, you will notice something peculiar. People and situations around you begin to shift. Some relationships that once felt significant may start to fade, while new connections and opportunities begin to emerge effortlessly. At first, this change may feel unsettling, but it is a sign that your external world is rearranging itself to match the new reality you have chosen. The universe operates through divine order, and when you set an intention for something new, everything that is not in alignment with that vision must either transform or fall away. You may find that certain friendships or relationships no longer feel as connected as they once did. Conversations that used to engage you now feel dull or forced. People who once occupied a large space in your life may begin to distance themselves or disappear altogether. While this may seem like a loss, it is not. It is simply the shedding of old energies that no longer align with your evolving state of being. At the same time, new relationships and opportunities begin to present themselves. You may encounter people who inspire and uplift you, who resonate with your newfound mindset. Unexpected invitations, offers, and ideas may flow into your life as if drawn by an unseen force. These are not coincidences. They are reflections of your internal shift. When you elevate your consciousness and assume the reality of your desire, everything in your life must reorganize to support that new assumption. This process is not always comfortable. Sometimes it may feel like everything is falling apart before it comes together. A job you once relied on may suddenly end. A relationship you believed was permanent may begin to dissolve. Plans that seemed certain may unexpectedly change. When this happens, resist the urge to hold on to the past. Understand that what is leaving is making space for what is meant for you. Trust that these shifts are happening for your highest good, even if they do not immediately make sense. One of the clearest signs that your manifestation is unfolding is when you begin to experience synchronicities in your social and professional life. You might meet someone who provides the exact information or opportunity you need. You may find yourself in the right place at the right time, overhearing a conversation or stumbling upon a resource that propels you forward. Doors that once seemed closed will open effortlessly, not because you are forcing them, but because you are now aligned with them. It is important to remain open and adaptable during this time. Do not resist the changes, but embrace them as evidence that your manifestation is in motion. The old must make way for the new, and this transition is proof that you are stepping into a new version of yourself. Instead of mourning what is leaving, celebrate what is arriving. Instead of fearing change, trust that every shift is guiding you toward what you have asked for. When you see people and situations begin to change around you, take it as a powerful confirmation. Your new reality is taking shape. The bridge of events is unfolding, and soon you will step fully into the life you have envisioned. Just before your manifestation arrives, something unexpected happens. A challenge appears. It may come in the form of an obstacle, a delay, or even a situation that makes you question everything you have believed. You may feel as if things are falling apart instead of coming together. This is not a sign that your manifestation has failed, Rather, it is a final test, a moment where you are asked to stand firm in your faith. If you persist, if you refuse to react in fear or doubt, you will soon witness your manifestation unfold. This test often comes disguised as a setback. Perhaps you are manifesting financial abundance and suddenly an unexpected expense arises. You might be affirming a new relationship only to find yourself confronted with loneliness. You may be visualizing career success yet experience rejection just when you thought you were making progress. At first glance, it seems as if the universe is working against you, but in reality, it is working for you. This challenge is not here to break you, it is here to reveal whether you truly believe in your manifestation or, if you will, waver under pressure. Many people give up at this stage. They see the challenge as proof that their desire is not meant to be, that they have failed in their manifestation. But those who understand the process know better. They recognize that this is the final step before the breakthrough. When you remain steadfast despite appearances, when you refuse to let circumstances dictate your inner state, you pass the test, and in passing you allow the manifestation to fully materialize. Why does this test appear? Because manifestation is not just about receiving, it is about becoming. You are not merely attracting something, you are shifting into a version of yourself that naturally possesses what you desire. This test forces you to embody that version fully. If you desire abundance, you must think and act as if you are already abundant, even in the face of financial challenges. Your time here starts literally once you realize that you're banging on with manifestation. You are not being untangled yet. If you desire love, you must radiate self-worth and confidence, even when it seems absent in your outer world. If you seek success, you must persist with certainty even when setbacks arise. This challenge is an invitation to prove to yourself that you truly trust in the unseen. It asks, will you still believe when everything seems to contradict your desire? Will you hold on to your vision, even when reality appears otherwise? If you can answer yes, if you can remain unmoved, then your manifestation has no choice but to unfold. The key is not to react in fear or frustration. Do not let the illusion of temporary difficulty shake your confidence. Instead, take it as confirmation that your manifestation is closer than ever. Shift your perspective. See the test not as a barrier but as the final doorway. Walk through it with certainty, knowing that on the other side, your desire is waiting for you. Every great manifestation is preceded by this moment of trial. Those who persist, who hold their vision no matter what, are the ones who experience their desires fully realized. When the test comes, stand firm. The finish line is nearer than you think. The journey of manifestation is not about forcing reality to change, but about aligning yourself with the truth that your desire is already yours. The signs along the way, inner peace, synchronicities, vivid dreams, detachment, shifting circumstances, and even final challenges, are not random occurrences. They are confirmations that the unseen is becoming seen, that the bridge of events is unfolding in perfect order. What is important? The signs. When you recognize these signs, trust them. Do not waver, do not second guess, and do not fall into doubt. Each sign is a whisper from the universe, reminding you that what you seek is already on its way. Your role is not to chase, but to become, to embody the state of already having, already being, already knowing. Remain steadfast in your vision. Let go of the need to control every detail, and instead surrender with confidence. The moment you stop questioning, the moment you trust completely, is the moment your desire moves from imagination to reality. Thank you for allowing these words to guide you. May you walk forward with certainty, knowing that everything you desire is already finding its way to you.